Eukaryotes have a lot to offer compared to prokaryotes. Eukaryotes and prokaryotes both have a cytoplasm, cell wall, DNA, and ribosomes. However, eukaryotes have so much more. Membrane-bound organelles are the next step up from these primitive prokaryotes. Centrioles, Golgi apparatuses, vacuoles, ribosomes, nucleus, endoplasmic reticulums, mitochondria, and chloroplasts are all features of the eukaryotic cell. The prokaryotes are all single-cellular, microscopic cells that are limited to bacteria with none of these fantastic features. Eukaryotes can also be single or multicellular and are everything but bacteria. This is just another advantage to Huber's eukaryotic cells. Thank you, and here is a more detailed description of some of the most important parts of the cell.
The endoplasmic reticulum, or the ER, acts as the manufacturing and packaging system of the cell. The endoplasmic reticulum stores and transports proteins to the cell membrane from DNA in the nucleus. Prokaryotes don't have an ER. A cell's function determines the size and structure of an ER. This organelle plays an important role in the synthesis, folding, modification, and transport of proteins. There are two parts of the endoplasmic reticulum, and though the rough ER and the smooth ER often appear as if they are separate, they are just subcompartments of the same organelle. The rough ER looks like sheets or discs of bumpy membranes and is studded with millions of membrane-bound ribosomes. The rough ER is connected to the nuclear envelope which surrounds the nucleus, so the direct connection between the perinuclear space and the ER allows for the movement of molecules through both membranes. The smooth ER looks more like tubes and is a storage organelle. The smooth ER is important for the storage and creation of lipids. Body cells which release oils have more smooth ER than most cells. The smooth ER is largely associated with metabolism, hormone production, and steroid production. The ER is important because 50% of the total membrane surface in an animal cell is provided by the ER. It is an important manufacturing site for many proteins and lipids, and proteins are necessary for membranes to operate.
Cells need proteins to speed up biological processes. Ribosomes are protein builders of the cell. Other proteins support cell functions and are found embedded in membranes. Ribosomes on the rough ER are membrane-bound and are responsible for the assembly of proteins. Prokaryotic cells have ribosomes that are smaller than eukaryotes. Scientists have used these structure differences to develop drugs that can kill prokaryotic microorganisms which cause diseases. Ribosomes create the proteins that are essential for a huge range of activities within an organism. And the ribosomes consist of two basic components, a large component and a small component made up of RNA molecules.
Mitochondria is a well-defined cytoplasmic organelle of a cell that takes part in a variety of cellular metabolic functions. It supplies all necessary biological energy of the cell. It obtains energy by oxidizing the substances of the Krebs cycle. It's known as the powerhouse of the cell. The muscle cells have a very high concentration of mitochondria that produce ATP. Mitochondria is almost 4,000 to 2,000 the size of a head of a pin, although up to 1/3 of the volume of your skeletal or cardiac muscle obtains mitochondria. Mitochondria takes oxygen and carbs or substrates and uses them to produce energy. Mitochondria is enclosed by a double membrane system made up of inner and outer membranes. The space between them is called the inner membrane space.
Chloroplasts are important because they are sites of photosynthesis. From the absorption of light and by chlorophyll and through the production of the first simple sugars, chloroplasts are essential for energy and food for plants. Chloroplasts are present in all green-colored cells of a plant, not only in leaves, but also in green stems and green parts of a fruit. Chloroplasts are approximately 4 to 6 micrometers in diameter and are shaped like a satellite dish with the concave face toward the light. This shape maximizes their ability to capture light and produce energy. Depending on the plant species, there can be as many as 200 chloroplasts in a cell. Chloroplasts are the source of virtually all of the world's food, fuel, and much of the oxygen supply. Life on Earth depends on them.
The Golgi bodies are like a post office. What would you do without a post office? You would not be able to send or receive messages or information. Nothing would get done without it. The Golgi apparatus sorts and processes proteins. The membrane contains enzymes that make additional changes to proteins. Packaged proteins are either stored in the Golgi for later use, transported to other organelles, and some are secreted to the outside of the cell. It is also involved in the transport of lipids around the cell and the creation of lysosomes. The Golgi apparatus looks like a flattened stack of pancakes. The sacks or folds in the Golgis are called cisternae. Overall, it is an efficient and vital part of the eukaryotic cell product.
Vacuoles are like large containers which have cellular waste to isolate harmful materials. They are usually found in all plant and fungal cells, as well as some protists, animals, and bacteria. They are membrane-bound organelles and are enclosed compartments filled with organic and inorganic molecules with water to support the organelle. Vacuoles are like storage bubbles, as they store food or any nutrients needed for the cell. It also stores waste products to protect the cell from contaminants. They are found in animal cells but are much larger in plant cells. Their structure is a membrane which surrounds a mass of fluid. The fluid has nutrients or waste products. Eventually, the waste products are slowly broken down into pieces that can't harm the cell. Some plants use them to store water, and sometimes they may take up more than 1/2 of the cell.
Eukaryotes have organelles that are necessary for the cells to survive and reproduce, and without them, where would we be?
Pro means no! You need eukaryotes!